they ran at a loss. They spent $1,501. They drew down in federal money that they spent on food and jobs and overhead in the community, $411,000. And with that, they fed 83,000 meals, lunches, and 72,000 breakfasts over the course of 6 weeks in Durham. So the net cost to Durham City Schools in that instance was $1,500 for 130-some thousand meals, and bringing in over $400,000 of business into the community. So once I started gathering figures like that, and knowing that it's a one-year waiver program, I just wanted to bring that information to the attention of the communities as they consider the extent that they want to participate in it. And so I'm happy to answer any questions about it, how it's running in other places, details about the program, and what's going on in Roanoke Rapids, which is already signing up multiple new meal sites where children can be served.
So it's 11 school districts now.
Yes.
Did
In
they
the
start
state.
with the 11 to include the Durham system? Or
The Durham system is not included in that waiver, but I'm gathering statewide data in terms of how people are using the program and the economic impact. That was the most extreme example I've gotten so far. So in terms of the money that they put forward to run it versus the reimbursements that they receive.
for your for the potential extensions or expansions, you're looking at next year as an extension possibly, and an
Right.
expansion. Did I hear expansion or just an extension?
Oh, the waiver has been approved for this year only. It's taking place this summer, and new meal sites can be added this summer. So when I speak about the expansion, the current programs in the communities they're already planning on expansions in terms of service in their own communities. The waiver has only been for this year. We would like to request that the waiver be extended to next year or expanded. And when I say we, I speak on behalf of the various state agencies that see sort of the potential, and they would like to expand the services that they have under the waiver.
And is Roanoke Rapids City Schools in the program?
Yes, it is. It's one of the
City schools will
11.
be in the program.
It's one of the 11 that are in North Carolina, and it's the only one going on nationally.
And it sounds to me like what you're doing now is looking to see if other entities may want to have some financial input into it to try to make it more financially successful.
As a school of government faculty member, I wanted to share the information about the program and share my initial evaluation results. So I'm not here to necessarily advocate that, but I have found that many local government officials, because it just got approved 3 weeks ago, folks don't even have the information yet to know that the opportunities are available.
Would the dollars that came from the federal government be available for the like school nutrition program to spend locally to purchase food, or would the food?
Absolutely, that's what it is, and Michelle can speak a little bit more to this. Some communities, they will contract with a local Golden Corral. Some will use it to purchase foods that they fix and serve in the school kitchens. The meals all have to be according to federal nutritional guidelines, and they also have to be covered in terms of health and safety guidelines. But within a school district that is 50% or more free and reduced price lunch, kids going to that school, any child can be fed from birth to 18 years old, and they just have to show up. There's no paperwork, there's no eligibility criteria, they don't even take the names, they just do a head count and say, 50 kids showed up, they ate food, and then the federal government will reimburse the location for 50 meals at a little under $4 per meal.
Okay, you confused me a little bit on that last piece.
Sure.
Think about the any kids showing up.
Yes.
So, does that mean, when you say any, define any kid to me? I don't.
Well, what the assumption is that if you have a vacation Bible school going on in a church, and that church is in a neighborhood where the local school, the kids at the local school represent 50% of them are fearing reduced price lunch. It's basically understood that most children in that immediate area would probably qualify. And to make it easier to get the food to the kids, they just make the assumption that any kid who shows up at that church in that neighborhood would qualify, and they just feed them. So they don't have to be there with a parent, they don't have to check in. They do have to sit there and eat the food. They can't take the food with them, because the goal is to feed the kids, not to have them carry meals out to anybody else. What this does, and with the waiver sort of reducing the paperwork, is it makes it extremely easy for the school kitchens to prepare the meals, but then to be able to have the meals go out to a Parks and Rec program and feed the kids breakfast and lunch, and the feds pick up the cost. So it's the other programs in the past, they worked in silos. Because they're working together, it's I think it presents some very interesting opportunities for local governments either to save money, because if they're already feeding kids, they can basically substitute the federal funding, or if they would see it as being beneficial, they could add it on to currently offered programs. And again, they can be offered anywhere. They can be in a park, they can be in a trailer park, they can be at the library, they can be anywhere where kids congregate. Pools, if you have swim lessons, they can feed the kids, things like that. It's a highly underutilized federal program, and that's why there's a big push to try to say 90% of the kids who are eligible are not taking advantage of this. So there's money being left on the table for the communities, and there's not as many opportunities for the kids. So that's why there's a lot of information outreach going on right now.
You mentioned earlier that someone could go to the school, pick up food and take it. Does that take it to the home of the parent, or does it got to go to another site?
It's got to go to a place where there's a group of children.
Someone monitoring, make
And
sure.
somebody is monitoring there. There has to be some basic guidelines, for example, clean water, accessible bathrooms, so very minimal guidelines. But if there is again, I said vacation Bible school or sports camp or a Parks and Recs program where there's a group of kids and they're being monitored by an adult who will count the number of kids and make sure that they sit and eat the food, that's the background, and that's sufficient. Michelle Puckett, who is here, actually is running it in the area, and I do have to recognize that one of the reasons Roanoke Rapids City Schools were selected for this was her willingness to take it on and to really try to expand service within the community. Without that willingness, Roanoke Rapids would not have been selected to participate in the program. But she can answer some of those more specific details.
We would start as soon as school is out.
1 week lapse, because we lose our students and then we still have kitchens to shut down, staff to clear out, etc. We're going to start 1 week after the end of school. We're going to go until 1 week prior to the start of school. I'm already signing up vacation Bible schools. I'm working diligently with John and Kelly to make sure we're part of every program going on with our Parks and Recs department. We would love to see some funding for additional staffing so we could incorporate activities, exercise, etc., because as we all know, proper nutrition is not just about the ingestion of food. We're also looking for any volunteer groups in the community, and please feel free to contact me, that would be willing to help deliver foods or to help serve at sites. Several churches have been contacting me and our potential sites. I will also be running our school nutrition truck around the city, and we'll have 3 different bus stop meetings that will be announced in the paper so that children will be aware of them as well.
How do we get in touch with you? What's your phone number and all that good stuff?
I'll be
What's the
glad to
best
give
way?
that, I'll be glad to pass that along.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right, and,
Okay.
or by email.
Okay,
I'll be glad to pass that information.
okay.
And I could encourage you to also, we can provide the names of the other school districts around the state that are participating in terms of sharing best practices or other ideas, in terms of how they're being used. Any nonprofit group can participate, faith-based organization, again, anywhere where there's kids, 11 kids, 10 kids gathering. Yes, ma'am?
You're the one that's in charge of logistics of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. I've said I'm gonna need a tactical command center if this
Okay.
grows as big as I'd like to see it grow. And another economic factor to consider is that I will be able to employ people this summer that ordinarily would not have jobs. I have teacher assistants contacting me already, school nutrition workers, people that have been possibly reduced to 10 months due to budget cuts, et cetera, will be employed. So that's another economic factor for our community to consider is the increased employment because of this summer feeding program. I'm very honored to have been asked to be part of it. And I mean, this came all the way from the United States Department of Agriculture.
Yes.
It took some maneuvering. It's all the way.
You have a big job ahead of you.
Yes, ma'am, I hope I do. I hope you send me every child in this city. We have over 3,000 students that are eligible. But as Maureen alluded to, the fact that they don't have to be school age. You know, they can be
birth
less
to
than
18.
5 years old, birth to 18. And I actually offer yogurt, string cheese, and Granberries to ensure that that toddler gets fed. The mama's not eating the sandwich, not that I have anything against feeding the mama. But of course, my job and mission is to feed the children. So,
Okay, it sounds like, John, you have additional answers to the questions that we might have because
Yes.
get this information out.
Correct.
So if it please the council, if we so desire, we could put it on our June work session, if we so desire to discuss it further. Would that'd be our next meeting, if we want to take any action. I know you said no action was